Hello everyone, this is James Crook and I'm excited to share some site navigation principles with you. A little nervous because of course I'm a student just like you and I've obviously got a lot to learn, but I'm also excited to show you some things that I've learned and some principles that should be really helpful for us. So first, you have to plan. You have to plan in order to be able to have a good navigation system. So when you're preparing that planning document like we did in the last lesson, pay careful attention to the objectives. What are you trying to do with the site, and how is navigation going to help you do that? Are you selling? Are you informing? Are you encouraging action? In fact, I'm going to show you, I started a business in June, and it's actually doing pretty well. But somewhere I could have used a lot of this information was when designing my website. I use Squarespace, which is a template builder, and it makes nice looking things, but I didn't methodically plan out the website. So I want to show you what my website looks like right now and just kind of show you what happens when you don't make objectives. So here it is. There we go. So what you'll see here is I have this navigation bar up here. You'll see a home, unlimited career coaching services appointments, and this networking funnel login. I didn't plan well. Okay, I hired a graphic designer after I did all this, and she laughs at my design, but just bear with me. But you'll see I wanted to highlight this unlimited career coaching. The problem was I have other services too. And the unlimited career coaching serves to give discounts on these other services that I offer, while also adding some additional added value in. So for example, you can have your resume reviewed, an unlimited amount of times and all that stuff, and then you get a discount on another service or whatever. But the problem is I didn't think hard enough about this, and so the way that it's been laid out is a little bit confusing, and people don't understand that the services, they're going to get big discounts on these services. Anyway, it was a mistake, and because I used a template builder, I had to create this funky, subheading, because I wanted people to be able to skip to see all of my services. So I made a lot of mistakes, and what I did was, as I went through the website, I improvised step by step on, okay, well, how can I make this work? How can I make this work? Instead of creating a plan from the beginning. And that's what I'm really trying to say, is if you don't plan from the beginning, you end up with somewhat of a mess. So I'm also missing other things up here that I feel like are important, but have been kind of shut down to this secondary navigation because of my lack of planning. So I'm definitely, as things kind of slow down for me, I'm definitely going to take it back to the drawing board and kind of go, okay, how can we actually plan this out more effectively? So that was kind of an example of what happens when you don't plan. Okay, well, when you do plan, you want to make a sitemap. And I'm going to show you an example of a sitemap here. Here we go. So, and actually, before I do that, I'm also going to pull up this. Here's an example of a sitemap. So basically, it just lays out, it does a good job of laying out the navigation and the content that's in the navigation. So, you see this menu here. And so, okay, here's a menu item, here's a sub-menu item, another sub-menu item, and then content, 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 content. So what I want to do with my website is I want to go, okay, here's home, here's services, and I want to display these three services: resume creation, mock interviews, cover letters. But I also want to find a way to put that unlimited career coaching into this mix. So what this is going to allow me to do is I can actually create this unlimited career coaching tab, and I can start playing with, different levels of things. So this is a good way to plan out what you're doing before you actually go and make a mistake. And this thought just occurred to me. How you actually do this in Word is you go to Insert and you go to Smart Art. You can actually go to Hierarchy and you can choose from these different patterns. I'm using this one. You can also use that or that or that. And then once you insert that, you can play with what's in it. So a lot of people use this for organizational charts, but it works well for making a sitemap too. Awesome. Let's go back to the main presentation. So this is how, just in case you weren't familiar, I wanted to show you how to actually add a navigation bar into HTML, just so that we're all on the same page. So you would just obviously open brackets. Oh, and look, the lesson from last week is still up. So inside the body, you put those nav tags, and they're going to be links, so they're all going to have that Ahref identification, and then where it's going to link to on the page. You could actually make this link out to anywhere, but if it's within your website, that's obviously the idea behind this. So these pages don't exist yet, but if they did, that's how you would do it. And then here's the text that you want to display there. And if you do that in HTML, it'll display it in a horizontal way instead of vertically, which usually you would want for a navigation page. Alright, so back to our presentation. These are some other best practice tips. Something I did wrong with my website is I don't have my contact information up there. When you do have it, especially, you want it as the last item on the navigation bar, because that's what readers are going to assume will come. And then another cool tip that I learned was that you want your most important navigation links on either end of the spectrum, with the least important items in the middle. So what that means is if you really want to highlight two navigation links, you would want the most important one on the far left and the second most important one on the far right. And so that's something I definitely didn't do with my website that you'll want to try. Here's some links for some resources that I got some of this information from. I'll leave this, you can pause it here if you'd like, so that you can go and do some reading there. It was very helpful for me. So feel free to pause that. And anyway, that's what I had for site navigation principles. I'm excited to learn more about this and the CSS behind it. And if you have any questions, go ahead and subscribe to this discussion board, this discussion post, and I will respond to all the questions that come here, and hopefully other people will participate as well. Thank you so much.